Millions in contracts awarded without tender. Le Repentir is almost full. Driver released on $1.8 million bail. And why pollution fines don't make any sense. I am Noriko Bolford, and this is Uncut News. Do you see news happening? Send us a tip on WhatsApp at 592-659-615. The 2017 Auditor General's report has just been laid before Parliament, and among the findings in the report was that in 2016, the government distributed 153 contracts without being publicly tendered. The contracts, which were for both current and capital works, were worth some 604.8 million Guyana dollars. The audit also found 8 instances where the contract sums were the same as the engineer's estimates, of which 4 were awarded at one time to one contractor. While the president traveled to D.C. on an invitation from the U.S. government, yesterday Nondalol met with the FBI in his office in Georgetown. The meeting focused on strengthening their relationship to help with investigating, prosecuting, and convicting money launderers, terrorists, drug traffickers, human traffickers, cyber criminals, and organized crime groups. Nondalol reiterated the government's typical promises about addressing all those issues, and then he asked the FBI to investigate Guyanese in America who make inflammatory statements on social media. The Education Ministry has announced that the results of the National Grade 6 Assessment Examination will be ready on the 15th of September 2022. The later date is due to the fact that it takes around 12 weeks to mark the test and place the students in schools, and the test date was in early July. The NGSA exams are usually written in April, but the Rona delayed that. When in doubt, blame the Rona. While schools will reopen on the 5th of September, the 16,000 students who wrote the common entrance exams and will be heading into grade 7 are expected to begin school in late September, after the results are released. The undertakers in Georgetown must be raking in some big money, because Georgetown Mayor Hubraj Narain yesterday announced that the Le Repentir Cemetery is running out of space. He said that he's already informed the president of the issue and a request to expand the burial ground, but no response has been received as yet. He also noted that the existing space is not pulled off, causing the edges to fall into the canal, tombs and all. Though attempts have been made in the past to maintain the cemetery, the efforts proved too costly for the city to do consistently.
Now it's time to tell you about Best Buy's Car of the Week. Currently on sale is the 2016 Suzuki Jimmy Sierra 4-wheel drive. It comes with regular and low-range 4-wheel drive, mag rims, new tires, TV, CD, fog lamps, bar camera, and much, much more. Buy cars for $3.4 million. All pay as low as $700,000 down with around $67,000 monthly for 5 years, and it is yours. Call or WhatsApp 662-0844 for more info, or visit the showrooms at Lot 171 Peter Street, Queenstown, or Lot 2 Lamar Street, and tell America sent you for this sweet deal.
Notorious death row inmate Mark Royden Williams has been found guilty of yet another murder. On Friday, he was charged for the 2008 murder of GDF soldier Ivor Williams. Williams was killed during a gunfight between the armed gang and soldiers on patrol in Buxton. The judge ordered that a probation report be prepared for Williams and deferred sentencing to September 1st, 2022. Last Friday, 30-year-old escaped convict Trevor Xavier was arrested in Alboystown, Georgetown. Earlier this year, Xavier, codename Guyanese 69 because he bears a resemblance to the famous rapper, was sentenced to 3.5 years in jail in absentia for 3 counts of robbery, underarms, and escaping from lawful custody. He has been a fugitive from the law for the past 4 years, but there's no word if he snitched on his fellow thief-men. The man who was charged with running over and then dumping the body of accident victim Renal Williams has been released on $1.8 million bail after spending about a month on remand for the crime. Daniel Melbourne was charged for causing death by dangerous driving, failure to report an accident, failure to render assistance, failure to produce his vehicle for examination, giving false information to the police, and attempting to obstruct the course of justice. Melbourne's next court date is October 28, 2022. Today, Dr. Frank Anthony said the Health Ministry will launch a free hepatitis C treatment program this week. The program is a collaborative effort with the Pan American Health Organization. Hepatitis C is an infection that causes liver damage and other serious complications, including death. However, a recent reduction in treatment costs over the years has now made the free program available for the first time in Guyana.
Guyanese are known for many things, and cheapness is one of them. Thankfully, you could be cheap and still get high-quality DAF, International, Freightliner, Bedford TM, or Scammell truck parts for low prices at Powered Automotive. Visit them at Lot 1161 EE Eccles, or call them on telephone number 6970171. Save big on truck parts at Powered Automotive, the #1 heavy-duty truck parts store in Guyana.
Contrary to the recent gossip heard on social media, the government is in fact seeking to renew the contract of Guyana Civil Aviation Authority Director General Egbert Field, whose term expires on August 2nd, 2022. According to Edgel, there are no plans to get rid of Field, but his next contract will include an additional performance-based assessment. Now for today's oil update. According to Minister Vikram Bharat, ExxonMobil's permit for the Yellowtail project requires the company to have a capping stack maintained, tested, and stored in country, so it will be readily available should there be a well blowout. Capping stacks were created following the 2010 BP oil spill. It is placed over the blown-out well as a cap to stop or redirect the flow of hydrocarbons and to buy time for engineers to permanently seal the well. Having it locally can save us millions in damage, as it takes an average of 10 days to ship one from the United States. Now for our stupid news of the day. Do you know what I think is stupid? Up until earlier this month, Exxon has been flaring almost consistently since 2019 due to a faulty part on the Lisa Destiny. And for all this time, they were only fined $10 million for the offense. This is a drop in the bucket when you consider the billions of dollars Exxon has already made from this venture. While I'm not advocating for fining them into oblivion, I do think it's important to note that Exxon took their sweet time in fixing the pot because they could afford the fines we were charging them. And if a fine is low enough that a company would be okay with paying it for over 2 years straight, then that fine is not a deterrent. It's just a production expense. And that actually has many scary implications for our nation and how our government interacts with such large companies. The only real way I could think of to combat this situation is through strong laws and proper public representation on the regulatory and monitoring organizations for the industry. Because to allow companies to essentially buy a cheap license to pollute our nation is pretty stupid.
It might not be robbery season, but the streets are still mean. That's why you need to get security for your home and business through Sheriff Security Service. Sheriff Security offers well-trained guards, armed and unarmed patrol, marine patrol, K-9 services. These people even got drones. Why? Because your security is their highest priority. You've seen the rest, now hire the best. Hire Sheriff Security Service today.
Now for our uncut news, viewers poll question of the day. Every day we pose a question about current events in Guyana, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it relates to us. Yesterday, I asked for your opinion on the Building Expo, and if you went to it. Bantu King says, what good is a building expo, and we don't have proper building codes and zoning in this nation? I mean, that is a point there, but it seems like nobody else had anything to say about the Building Expo. So, before we get to tonight's question, you can multiply your cash by selling Digicel Top-Up. This is a legit way you can earn some extra money at your business or to supplement your current hustle. Become a top-up vendor quick and easy by linking with Cellular Plus. Call them on telephone number 685-3109 for more info. Now for tonight's question. Do you think ExxonMobil should have been fined more than $10 million for the 2 years of flaring they've been doing over here? Or was that an appropriate fine? If it wasn't an appropriate fine to you, what would you have charged them? I want you to think about that question. Tell us in the comments below. If your response is good enough, we just might feature it in our next episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight, and check us out tomorrow for another. Until then, I'm Rico Bulford saying good night, folks.